Good morning, Suzanne Joy.
Good morning, Deborah LeeAnn.
And Gene Key 28, purposelessness to immortality, and the pathway is totality,
Yeah.
which these words are so interesting to me because totality has been such a big thing with the eclipses that we've had in recent years. Like, where are you going to see? Are you going to have totality? You know? Um, And that's kind of an interesting image for me to hold in my mind. But purposelessness, that is, after being one of those seekers for decades, like I bought every book out there, what color is your parachute? And, what's my life purpose, my life purpose, my purpose, my purpose. And then to read that 64 Ways blurb, thank you, Richard Rudd, and how he says, yes, and searching for purpose is it's just a phase. And it's funny because once I don't remember when my shift was of searching for purpose, not feeling like I had a purpose, even though I always had a purpose. Do you remember that struggle? Did you play in that playground?
Yeah, and this key happens to fall in my IQ, which is all that developmental stages between 14 and 21.
Mm.
I call it the teenager angst. Do you know, like when we like you, oh, life, what's the meaning of it? I can still remember those times of why am I here? Why am I here? Why am I here? Um, but it's also, that fear of just not knowing.
Mm.
And when I was listening to Richard talk about it, he talks about it being the dilemma of avoidance. You're dancing in the void of nothingness and not knowing. And, there is that repressed nature of hollow. You don't live your life because you're fearful of making something happen. You don't know, am I doing it right? And I think with a lot of religions and everything else, we were kind of molded into follow the path. And if you're not on the path, you're not doing it right. So I think a lot of people probably repress themselves to fit in the box to and not live full out. He
Yeah,
talks,
and then what about especially teenagers, I'm thinking, the
yeah.
ones who don't want to live in a box, like you can't put me in a box. Like, you can't make me.
So that's the reactive nature,
Okay.
which is all about the gambler, somebody who is very fast paced. They can't stop moving. They're not doing think about putting me in a box. So it's they they have the reaction of taking action and activity because of the fear of
Still.
nothingness.
Yeah. Okay. Now that one would be me. Because I always worked at least two or three jobs all the way through college, was in all these activities, and I don't remember the concept of just being still at all during that time in my life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think about this too. It goes as he was describing. It goes in different stages, and then like in midlife, you hit the opposite. A lot of people hit the opposite town, and then you're taking risks because you're like, oh my gosh, have I fulfilled my purpose yet? And then you're the victim of fear because it feels this spun up energy of being unfulfilled and not doing it. And then in the later stages, it's like you might even have the fear of not living, of not fully living out. So, I mean, we all go through these stages, so it's not
Yeah.
irregular.
I love the fact that it has to do with avoidance because we think of purpose as being such a driver in our lives. But I think that once it's internalized, then we can live from that place of much more totality, right? Because it's not about doing what you need me to do, culture, society, family, my employer, whatever that's I feel like I'm beholden to do what they want me to do. And
Right.
then I'm not doing what I want to do. And somewhere in there is a happy medium where I might be doing exactly what I love doing and feeling on purpose and working for the man or, whoever. So tell me I want to play in totality because you said that. What did that feel like when you feel like you started to embody it or know it on a deeper level for yourself?
Well, I think it's when you really embrace all aspects of yourself, even the dark, scary ones. Or I didn't avoid. I mean, I'm still. I mean, we all are human, so we're still dealing with this. So I look at myself, and is there anything that I am currently avoiding? You know, it's. But what we do when we get to that state is that we're not living anymore in the mind state. You're
Ah,
not letting the mind dictate your life.
yeah.
You, but you acknowledge all aspects of it. And I find it interesting that Richard, in his 64 Ways, was talking a lot, or um, he spoke about Lucifer, and he spoke about Archangel Michael. Now, Lucifer was one of the angels in theology that was of the highest nature, and then he was supposedly turned, right? And there was this dark nature to him, and Michael had to embrace him as he was in order to transmute and acknowledge his totality of everything
Yes.
that he is.
Yes.
And once that happened, you acknowledge that that's where the immortality is, that we are all of it.
Yeah. You know, it's so funny to me because I loved the goofiness of the show Lucifer on television. I think it's on one of the streaming channels. And in the beginning, he plays out all his, devil stuff over and over again, and then he falls in love. And then he has this thing that his father doesn't love him, and all this, and then his brothers are all like going, yeah. So anyway, so then when he learns that his wings are white, I mean, it totally, it's so cool because you can see oh my God, I'm all of this. I'm also light and love. And I thought it was a well done, because we look at evil and we look at, God and the light, and we look at them as so separate.
But if we acknowledge that we are all of it, I mean,
Yes.
we're not separate. It's not like I mean, we have
Yeah,
these
there's
labels,
the evil people and the good
right?
people.
Like, seriously,
Yeah.
we're peoples.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Anyway, so that's I think I may, now that I have this different understanding, I might have to go back and rewatch this show. But so totality for you, did you have an epiphany? Did you have an awakening? Did you fall in love with some of the weirder, darker, I'm speaking in my words here, but
well,
what did it feel like when you felt like you stepped into, or like when you acknowledged your totality?
I remember I actually even did I was part of an art installation about embracing my dark side. And so, because none of us have gotten out of this world unscathed with doing crazy stuff. And, um, we're not as puritanical and like just perfect. But it is about being present to what is in any given moment. So what I think I realized is not to be afraid of anything, not to be afraid of experiencing life on all levels.
Hmm.
And I think because, I was taught to, um, be the good girl. And so,
Yeah. It's interesting because I had a conversation with myself the other day about, you know, you don't have to just be the good girl. I mean, I remember because it was something like, well, you should do this. And I literally out loud was like, hey, I don't have to be just the good girl. I am me, all of me. So,
Well,
um,
I think also this is all about using your creativity and the impetus of your creative nature. And I find it interesting that this is in the Ring of Illusion, along with the 32nd that we talked about last week. Um, and so once we recognize that it's in that Ring of Illusion, that we are all of it, um, and we don't need to be fearful of it. We are the creative impetus is there, coming from our heart center of what we naturally are as
yeah.
creative beings. Um, that part of us never dies, and so that's where the immortality comes from.
Okay. Because I was like, and how does it play into the Ring of Illusion with the immortality? Immortality and veneration,
Mhm.
right? So, yeah, those are such ethereal concepts, but it's more true than we tend to allow ourselves to believe. I have a question for you regarding the kidneys. I mean, it's physiologically, if this key governs that part of our body. Can you tell me what you think about that in terms of the cleaning? What do you think? How do you?
Yeah, I mean, think about what kidneys do. And they're they process and clean out. And when we talk about even like the 32nd gene key, which is identifying those things that no longer we need, along with this totality and embracing like all the parts that we've used and letting go of the things that we don't. What I find interesting about this key is that it always returns back to presence.
Mm,
Even though presence is its own key, it's really about embracing all the senses and being in life and experiencing it as it comes to you, not trying to push it away or being fearful about death. I mean, I am I fearful of death? I don't know that I'm fearful of death, but I recognize that it's going to happen at some point. Like
and I
that's
think
like,
it's the same fear of the unknown, though, don't you? That's
yeah,
what I think of in terms of because he said he laughs at people that say that they're not afraid of death, and I'm like, well, I'm not afraid of death, and then I went, well, maybe I am. So I had to like look at that like
well, yeah, because then you're like, I don't want to miss out. This has been such a great ride. I don't want it to end.
well,
But
I don't
we,
know, and we don't know what's on the other side, even though I think it's got to be awesome. Um, So I want to show you the mudra,
okay.
which is fascinating to me. And he starts with his hands in prayer pose, so your palms together, and then he switches and you put one palm on top of the other and you put your thumbs out.
So which palm on top of which?
Matter, and I'll tell you in a minute. And then you it's called the fish. And make sure if you're standing that your knees are not locked and that your arm and shoulder, you can feel the energy going from your shoulder and your neck down around your arm to your hand. So for me, I'm going to move my hands down a little bit so it's less of a strain on my shoulders. And that way it relaxes the whole breathing apparatus here, and I can feel the energy going out to my hands. And when you've breathed, a few breaths into that mudra, you can swap
Hmm.
together for the balance of,
Hmm.
which is an interesting thing because a lot of his mudras don't have much movement. Um, so you, can, so you can, switch back and forth, and And that just allows you to even out your the totality so that you're owning all of this. You're feeling all of it. I love that.
Yeah.
And the but starting actually in the, to me this feels like totality. And this is the immortality. So uh that is that. Anything else you want to add about this beautiful mudra in the Codon Ring of Illusion?
Um, just that we are embracing our human animalistic aspects as just as much as we do our spiritual aspects.
Yeah.
And
I
that's when we really know our purpose. And isn't our purpose just to live a really great life? I mean, it's just this is the joy of being here that we get to be here.
yeah.
We
And
get to be here.
the one thing that just I just got was jogged into looking at was immortality to me means there's a cessation of time. And I feel like right now, especially, we are feeling timelines overlapping, all of this. And very often there's a timelessness, which I'm experiencing right now. So every time I kind of get that space, I'm like, oh. So this is kind of what, if we can tap into and touch into the immortality space, that's what to me it feels like I'm playing with when I,
Yeah.
so timelessness. Okay. Well, till our next time together and our next conversation, thank you so much for listening. And um, we have been doing these for years, and we just hit, I want to celebrate and say thank you to whoever's listening. We just hit 100 subscribers, which is a big deal. So we appreciate you. We do this for ourselves, but we love sharing it with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Till next time.
Mhm.